I'm so happy that you could come on. We have about 30 minutes and we're going to talk about one specific set of tools. And I've asked you to talk about them because I'm interested in your perspective. I'm interested to see how you came to know about this set of tools and how you utilize them in your own daily life. Then I'm going to ask you, how might you suggest other people use them? Like maybe a teacher or a preacher or whomever, how would somebody else use them? And then we'll kind of close with what kind of advice you would like to share. So let's talk first. You've been asked to discuss with me a set of tools. Tell me about that set of tools. What are they? What is the set? And what do you know about them?
All right. The set that you've asked me to talk about, and I'm glad you did, are the tools of choice. And the tools of choice are positive thoughts, positive words, and positive actions.
Why are you happy that I asked you about that set? Because we have 4 sets of tools. I could have asked you any set of tools, but instinctively I just said, you know what? Tools of choice are hers. Why was that an appropriate pick?
Well, I think years ago, and I don't know how many years ago it's been now, when I started doing some of these Gogi Zooms, I made a zippered bag. Bag I made was, I said, I am so worth it. And I have a zipper because I have, I can do it now, but in the past I couldn't think of good things for myself. I was always really trying to help everybody else and I was kind of ignoring myself. So when I thought, I don't know how to think of good things or think of positive things or powerful things. So I wrote these little slips for myself. Optimistic. I wrote, and it took me a while to even think of these to write them. Dream. Dream about something that I want. And so I have a whole bunch of them in here. And at the time, if I couldn't think of anything, I would go grab this, unzip it, take one out like this. I love this one, strong, to remind myself that I am strong, that I do have powerful, positive and productive thoughts, words, which do turn into actions. So
well, I have a question. Anybody that's watched any of our videos, watch you're producing them. You got people coming in rooms, out of rooms, zooming this, zooming that. You're training people just out of prison. Well, here's how you use a cell phone. Here's how to Zoom. No one on earth would ever think that you had a self-esteem deficiency. No one on earth who watches you on any of the Gogi Power Up meetings would think that you were anything less than the producer of Gogi Media. No one would think that. Tell me about where you were and how on earth did these tools of choice help you become who you are?
Oh my gosh. I'm 73, so it's a long history. But as a child, I lived in a not real happy situation. My mother was a very strong person. My mother was very good and this and that, but I had a father who was an alcoholic. And then when I was 15 years old, my father took his life. And that was very, very difficult. But I even remember, I think back now, maybe I was strong. Maybe I did have a lot of these things, but I didn't really feel it because I went to school that day. And people said, I heard a rumor that your dad died last night. And I go, yeah, he did. They're like, what are you doing at school? I said, well, I have perfect attendance and I had a test in Spanish period 2. So I had to come. But the truth of the matter was, but then I've gone through a couple of marriages. I'm in a very nice, strong one now. It'll be 37 years in May. But I went through 2 of those. And I just feel like I was always, it may have been self-imposed, but that I was always beat down, that I was always not good enough, that I was always, I just felt in a bad spot, like neglected, but not who I am now. And really, like even in high school, I was very shy, and people that know me now go, what? You talk all the time and you're not shy. How could you have been shy? I have freckles. I had red hair. Everybody teased me. I learned how to sew so that I could make my own clothes that were long sleeves. That's kind of who I was. And
Well, I have a question then. In a very real way, it sounds to me like even as a child, you were in almost like an invisible prison. You had this happen with your father, but you were in this prison of presenting yourself as I can keep it together, or would you say it felt like you were trapped like that?
yes, but I don't think I knew it
I see. I see.
at the time and the place. But then, like with a failed first marriage, that was very traumatic because I felt like I didn't do anything wrong. He didn't really feel like he did anything wrong either. It was just an a way of life that he needed to leave our marriage. And then I found out I was pregnant. And then I went through this whole thing of people said, oh my gosh, what poor Dale. Carolyn must have done something bad to him because he left. He went to San Francisco. We didn't have cell phones then. We didn't know how to keep in touch. And sure enough, so I felt very victimized in that, and working at a very conservative school district. There was nobody I could talk to. So I was holding everything inside. And then I think at some point later on, after I retired and stuff, I just thought, you know what? I am a good person, and I need to own that. So, but the Gogi tools have just really strengthened me and helped me understand that I am who I am, and I'm a good person. And I do have good thoughts. I do have good words, and I do have good actions.
Let's talk about each of those tools. So I know they're kind of like a group, and people call them the 3 Ps: positive thoughts, words, and actions. So positive thoughts. Tell me what you understand about the Gogi life tool called positive thoughts. What does it mean to you when somebody say Gogi life tool, positive thoughts is the tool for the week? What goes on in your mind?
Well, I feel like we all have so many thoughts. I don't even know what the scientific part would be like. This morning, did I think I needed to get up out of bed? Yes, I thought I needed to get up out of bed. But perhaps I would have thought, I don't want to get out of bed. So right there, starting with those thoughts, should I take a shower? Should I brush my teeth? Should I have my breakfast? I know that all of our thoughts that come to us, we can consciously say, if this isn't a positive, productive, and powerful thought, I have the power to change that.
So positive, powerful, productive. What are those 3? How do you filter thoughts through those 3 filters? How do you do that?
Well, I'll just go back to kind of like getting up in the morning. There have been days when I just stayed in bed all day because everything was negative. I didn't want to face anything. So I think that, this morning I was excited to get up because I knew I was going to be on Zoom with you. And I knew it was going to be great and happy. And I put on my Gogi shirt, and, I have one of my Gogi patches right here. So it was all the thought processes started last night before I went to bed. And so just being able to say, okay, if I do have a negative thought, I can stop. I'm the boss of my brain, and I can start going through this asking myself, is it powerful? Is it positive? Is it productive? And then I have a choice. And I like how I feel when I put this through this process to find out, is it a positive thought? And then is that positive thought going to turn into some positive words? And are those positive words going to turn into some positive action? It just seems to me like the thoughts, the words just make the action come.
So you said in that process, I heard you say, well, then I'm the boss of my brain. So you pull in some of the other Gogi tools as you're working with this set of tools. You sometimes will pull in other tools to help reinforce it. Is that true?
Absolutely. And I think the boss of my brain, it's the first tool, and it's the one I think is the easiest to explain to people. And it's the one that comes to me a lot. And then the second one that comes to me a lot is belly breathing. Because I think all of this, before you can even maybe start your thought process, you kind of have to slow yourself down or belly breathe and think about what you want to think about. So yes, all the tools really do all work together. And every day I learn more about which ones are my favorite, or somebody can ask me, which one's your favorite? And I'll go, I don't know. And then tomorrow you can ask me which one's my favorite. And maybe tomorrow is reality check. You know?
So you use them as they're needed. You have like a toolbox and you just pull a tool out.
Yes.
So if you were to recommend to, let's say a single mother and she's raising a child on her own, like you did, if you could have given yourself advice about positive thoughts, what would that advice have been? You have no husband, you're in a very conservative school district, you don't want to share your story, you're pregnant. What could you possibly have told younger mom Carolyn about those tools, positive thoughts? Yeah, don't you wish somebody would have been there to give you that tool?
I mean, we're talking 51 years ago, 52 years ago. What I would tell somebody now, I'm a lot more educated about being able to tell somebody, but I think the first thing I would tell them is I'd say, get one of these books. Get one of these books and just start reading it, and it will help you. But and it's hard for an older person to tell a younger person, because sometimes the younger people would be like, what does she know? She's just an old lady, you know? Whew. Well, if I knew now, if I knew then what I know now, I believe that I would have been happier. I would have shared my story so that I could have helped other people then too. And so I'm just want to say to the people, anybody going through this right now, you're not the bad person. You have a new baby, and you can have so much fun with that new baby, and you don't have to worry about what is going to happen if. You can just enjoy in the moment. I was always like worried, like, first of all, I realized it has to be a girl because I can't raise a boy without a father. So it's got to be a girl. Surprise. We didn't know back then if you were having a girl or boy until the baby came out. And then I was worried about that. I worried too much. I lost a lot of, oh boy, here we go.
Get the tissue out.
I lost a lot of time and joy not knowing that I could have been happier all along. So anybody going through what I went through, reach out for help to somebody, anybody, and just know that it's all going to end up okay. I have a wonderful son who he and I speak every single day. We can now communicate where I couldn't communicate a lot before. And and I'm so thankful for you, Coach Taylor. Oh dear.
Well, you did all the work. You showed up. These tools came to us. They were given to us by individuals who needed them the most. The most suffering in our society created these tools, and which is why they work. And all I did was say, hey, what if we called you Gogi Mom? And what if we put you in charge of darn near everything? And you showed up and you did it. So you absolutely earned your self-esteem. You earned your position. You earned everything that you are able to be blessed with now. And it's not outside the realm of possibility that everyone can earn that.
Absolutely.
And you showed a book earlier. That book is also a free PDF to anybody. So you can purchase the book. We have donors that sometimes pay for those books, but it's also a free downloadable PDF. These tools are a gift. So let's talk about positive words now. Positive words, what does it mean to you, and how do you utilize that tool specifically in your engagement with individuals? And I know you are a voice of encouragement to a lot of incarcerated and recently released. In fact, we had one coach who was having a very difficult time. The first thing he did was called you, and he was crying about something traumatic that had just happened. And you could hold that space with him and share those tools. So let's talk a little bit about positive words. What does it mean for you now that you don't only say them, but you say them to inspire others? You're going to positive words to the nth degree. Let's talk a little bit about how you utilize the tools for yourself and then to empower others.
Well, when the negative words or the not so good words or the not so fun words come to you, then I just really have to stop and say, hey, let me look at this another way. Another situation, my husband has been diagnosed with dementia, and this has been a learning curve for me. And then when some things happen, and at first I was getting all too upset and whatnot, but now I turn it around, and I was just stuffing a bunch of envelopes yesterday. Our electricity went out, our power went out. I was still doing it. My husband came over to the table because that's the only place the flashlight and the light was. And he started helping. And I was like, look at this. This is cool. And he started shouting, Gogi for life, Gogi for life. And I'm like, okay, calm down. I'm trying to concentrate and put the right information on the envelopes. But see, even he could change his words, because at first he was really upset that the power went out. He was in the recliner. Now he can't get out of the recliner because it's a power recliner, and his favorite program on TV was not there. And I'm like, Steve, guess what? We're not cold. We're not in the snowy situation. It's going to come back on whenever they can get the transformer fixed. We have some power. We have batteries. We have flashlights. So we could together come up with some good words, some positive words, some powerful words. He was upset. What am I going to eat for dinner? I said, well, you can have a bowl of ice cream if you want. And he goes, well, I think I'll have a bowl of cereal and then I'll have a bowl of ice cream. I said, perfect. We still had food. We could still eat. We didn't have to be negative about, how am I going to cook what I want to cook? And so I don't know, it just starts coming so much easier to me now. There was a lady over at my house the other day, and something she was complaining about in our community. And I said, oh, hey, just think about it. We have this beautiful lake down here, and I walk at the lake with my hiking poles. She goes, oh, you do? You walk all the way around it? I said, well, not now in the snow and the rain and everything, but yeah. Oh, wow. She goes, why do you always seem so happy? And I said, because why not? Why not be happy? And she has some difficulties, and actually I have hired her to do some help me around the house because she's younger and things I can't do. Then I'm thinking, this is cool. My happy words are, now I'm helping her financially too, because she's helping me physically. And so the words are so powerful, what we tell ourselves. If we tell ourselves we're in a bad situation, or we tell ourselves this is horrible, the electricity went out. There are so many good words and powerful, positive, and productive words that we can put back in our head. Now we're happy again. I even took a picture because I thought it was so cool that I had all these envelopes and these stamps and everything. And I didn't have to just say, oh no, now I can't do what I wanted to do. I can do it.
Yeah, I posted that picture not only on my LinkedIn, but on Facebook. And I said, this is why Gogi will never fail, because we have this level of commitment from people that have found these tools helpful. We don't see obstacles. There is nothing that can shake us at our core, because these tools absolutely do work. So tell me, the power goes out. You got a grumpy husband with some dementia. He can't get out of the recliner. The TV show's not on. If you did not have positive words, what would that scenario, what for a woman that's, man, her husband's just bugging the heck out of her. She's being pushed to the edge, and man, enough is enough. What advice would you give to the previous you who wouldn't have had those tools? How would it have gone down?
Oh, it would not have gone down very nicely. Fortunately, I have to say I was a door slammer.
Okay.
So I probably would have left the living room immediately and slammed the bedroom door, and slammed it like, I hate to really even admit this, but slammed it. And years ago, my poor second son, Boys are 7 years apart. I remember getting super upset with him when he was in high school. I not only slammed his bedroom door, but I was yelling at him and pulling the door towards me, slamming it and pulling it and slamming it and pulling it, because that's what I saw my father do for my first 15 years of life. And then it was kind of funny because all the, what do you call it around the door? All the molding, all the
Door jam.
the door jamb. It broke. I fell backwards and the door fell on top of me. So the joke was on me. Funny. And it was bad. And honestly, he's going to be 45. So he was like 15. So that's 30 years ago. So I'm not a door slammer anymore, honest.
Right.
But last night, if I had not had my tools, I think I could have just seen me just like I don't want to deal with him, with the lights, with what are we going to eat for dinner? I would have just gone inside myself and just, I don't know, laid on my bed, or I don't know what I would have done, but none of those thoughts even crossed my mind last night. I haven't even thought about my door slamming problem until we
Yeah. What's amazing is a woman or a man in your situation where the partner is just poking at him, intentionally or not. Maybe they're just frustrated. When you get poked enough, the bear bites, unless there is no bear. And I think what you've done over time is you've learned how to reprogram your brain so that you utilize positive thoughts and they do go to positive words. Now let's move to your positive actions. Talk to me about what positive actions as a Gogi life tool means to you and how do you utilize it?
The positive actions that I use a lot is if I do get to a frustration point, which never gets to that craziness. And I mentioned we do have a lake right here by our house. I have bad knees, but I take my hiking poles and I go out and I walk because that just really centers me. I can repeat the Gogi pledge as I'm walking. There are other people out there. They don't know what I'm going through. So I can just say, good morning, good afternoon, hi. They ride their horses around there. Some of them stop. And I even can say, can I pet your horse? And I go over, the horse doesn't know what I'm going through and doesn't care.
Yeah.
I come back home and I'm like all rejuvenated and all happy and thankful that I have legs that will let me still walk, that I already had the hiking poles from hiking the Pacific Crest Trail portions of it years ago. And so the actions, my other actions are I love to sew and embroider. And so if it's not a situation, if it's dark and I'm not going to go out and walk, I come in my room and I just start turning on my machines and I just start embroidering. And so my actions, I think too, that when I first learned about these tools and studied them, there's so many samples in the book of what could your action be? And so it has helped. At first I started reading all those and I'm like, oh, that could be an action, even though it's a small thing. So I started really with the small things. Like my action could be sit down and breathe. Don't even go anywhere. Don't talk. Hard for me not to talk, but that is an action. Quiet. Be quiet with yourself for a little bit till you get your thoughts in order, till you get your positive, productive, and powerful words, so you can make a positive, productive, powerful action as your next step.
So here's a question. There are a lot of people with diagnosed or undiagnosed, like depression and physical ailments that are just so debilitating. They in and of themselves are a very physiological, emotional, sometimes financial, personal prison of sorts. How would you recommend they use positive actions to help reduce those pains, reduce that struggle? How could someone use positive actions to not think the world is so bad or life is so bad? How can that happen?
Well, I think, and thank goodness I never have had that. I think that who knows, maybe I was clinically depressed when I was going through a bunch of stuff, but I had to keep working to keep bringing in money to keep feeding 3 children at the very end, But I would hope, I would think that perhaps they could just sit down again and then say, I have a chair to sit. I have a toilet. Hopefully they have a toilet. I have a toilet that I can use, that I can flush.
Gratitude? Is that what you're saying?
I think gratitude is what I'm trying to get at. Yes, that just be thankful for what we do have instead of, and when I was growing up, I was like, man, people at work, they would come in with brand new purses. I had a sling kind of a purse that I made out of fabric that I got from my aunt. And so I don't know. Another word, I guess, is like greed, but not really greed, but comparison, like comparing yourself to somebody and saying, oh gosh, I don't have what they have. So if somebody is in a situation where they're financially, and I know about the financial, my mother had to help me a lot and give me money to put food on the table. And I was thankful for my mom doing that, but I still had this, how come the coworkers at work have so much more than I have? Like, it's not fair. But if I could have wiped all that away and just be thankful what I had. And then I do remember one lady who did tell me, gosh, just be thankful you have children. She goes, I wanted to have children. I could never have children. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, well, you want to pay for my diapers? I wouldn't say anything like that, but had I done that then, and people now, whatever you're going through, financial hardship, just try to think about what you do have. And then maybe for the action, think about, there's so many agencies. I believe there's agencies that you can reach out to help you, or a family member or a friend, talk to them. Don't keep it all inside. Try to talk to somebody and say, you know how I can get any more help than I'm getting, because I need help.
Beautiful. I love it. Our time is coming to a close, but I do want you to share the pledge. I want to hear you say it. And then I just want to ask a couple of questions about it. So can you just share with our viewers the Gogi pledge?
Sure. This is the Gogi Pledge of Service. May our commitment to the study of Gogi grant us the joy of giving and receiving, so that our inner freedom may be of maximum service to those we love and infinite others.
Beautiful. I love it. Every time when you say that, I resonate with the very first time I heard it in 2008 from the girls in the Los Angeles County Jail who created that pledge of service. How do the tools of choice help you live that pledge to be of service? And we will close with this.
The tools of choice help me with this pledge, because when you think of the one, so that our inner freedom, and that's what I didn't have before. I didn't have an inner freedom, and I didn't feel like I was ever of maximum service to other people. And now I do feel like it. I really enjoy when somebody calls me, they just got out of prison, they just got a phone, they don't know what Zoom is. Coach Taylor, you taught me what Zoom is, and now I'm being able to each one teach one and help them. And then you had mentioned that one of our Gogi members had a very bad situation happen, and he called me. And we cried together for 25 minutes. And that made me feel so good when I got off the phone, obviously not for what he was going through, but the fact that he called me and I was able to help him. I don't think I would not have known what to do 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Right.
Gogi and the pledge of service, it truly means that I'm set free. And I'm more relaxed. I enjoy life more, and I look forward to helping people wherever I can.
Well, I must tell you that I feel very safe and secure with Gogi in your hands. And when people get out of prisons and they call Gogi mom, I know they're being cared for very, very well. when we have people coming in and out of the Zoom meetings, I know they're being cared for very, very well. And I know that they can rely on you for the strength and for the knowledge of the tools and for the life of service that you're living and for the fine example you are to everybody. So I'm grateful and I applaud your continued effort to be of service. Your life is definitely one of meaning and purpose that fuels the hearts and souls of so many. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach Taylor.
All right. We'll see you on the next Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Bye.